1 minute ago, Elon Musk detonated the most brutal political takedown Britain has seen in a generation, and he did it live, uncensored, on global television. Viewers didn't just watch a disagreement, they watched a sitting British Prime Minister get crushed in real time by a man who wasn't even in the same room. And the fallout is already spiralling into something far bigger than a broadcast clash. Before we roll the footage, just one thing. If you enjoy our work, drop a like and hit subscribe. Over 98% of you are watching without subscribing. Let's change that right now. It's free for you, but it fuels everything we do. Subscribed? Perfect. Now enjoy the video. Something deeper, something more dangerous, because this isn't about the NHS or Twitter or online rules. This is about truth, power, and who gets to control the narrative of an entire nation. If you're watching this, hold on tight. What you're about to hear is the moment the digital world collided head-on with political authority. And Britain is now shaking at its core. It began quietly enough. A routine panel, a BBC Global Summit on digital ethics. Keir Starmer joined from Downing Street, calm, rehearsed, talking about responsibility, public safety, national stability. Elon Musk sat across from a group of tech leaders, casual, unimpressed, his expression blank. But the tension in his eyes was unmistakable. It felt like he had come prepared, like he had a plan. And when the moderator opened the floor for final remarks, Musk's entire posture changed. He straightened, tilted his head, leaned into the microphone, then delivered the sentence that would ignite the biggest political firestorm Britain has seen since Brexit. Prime Minister, he said slowly, you don't protect democracy by smothering it. Starmer blinked, confused. Musk didn't wait. You claim you want to safeguard the public from misinformation, he continued, but your government is manufacturing it. The studio froze. The moderator tried to interject. Musk overrode him without breaking eye contact. Under your leadership, speaking the wrong opinion is treated as a crime. Britain has become a country where people fear their own thoughts. The silence after that line was absolute. Not a cough, not a shuffle, not even a breath. Then Musk dropped the torpedo. You lecture us about online radicalisation, yet your police carried out 312 arrests last year for posts that were offensive but not illegal. Nurses, students, old age pensioners. Meanwhile, your own ministers leak classified memos to lobbyists and walk away untouched. He lifted a stack of printed documents. Actual pages, the camera zoomed in. Stamped headers, official crests, dates. If you want to talk about misinformation, Musk said, start with your cabinet. The BBC director cut to a wide shot, but it didn't matter. Clip machines were already running. Musk's words were out, online, viral, uncontrollable. The moment hit X like a meteor. Bitter Musk melts Starmer exploded within minutes. TikTok flooded with remixes. Telegram channels lit up with theories and screenshots. British politics, usually slow, procedural, predictable, was suddenly a digital battleground powered by millions of furious fingers tapping screens. But here's the thing. Musk wasn't improvising. Everything up to that moment had been deliberate. For days, he'd been posting sharp, enigmatic messages. Truth wants out. Britain is next. Oh, watch the leaks. People assumed he was trolling again, stirring chaos, feeding his crowd. But he'd been building an atmosphere, priming the public, creating suspense that would explode at precisely the right second and destroy the government's messaging in a single blow. Meanwhile, inside Whitehall, pressure had been piling up quietly, invisibly. Crime rates up, NHS wait times breaking records, a leaked report showing internal divisions over migration policy. Then the week's worst revelation. A whistleblower claimed government moderators had flagged 28,000 social media posts as potential threats, many belonging to ordinary citizens venting frustrations about bills, rent, taxes, not extremists, not criminals, just people speaking. By the time Musk unleashed his accusation, the country was already emotionally soaked. All he needed was one spark. and he delivered it with ruthless precision. Within an hour of the broadcast, the Daily Mail's homepage was a war zone. Musk exposes number 10 oversight scandal. Starmer accused of digital authoritarianism. Even the BBC's own political correspondent admitted live, "This is unprecedented." The Guardian scrambled to contextualise the confrontation, urging people not to take Musk's comments at face value. But it was too late. The narrative had escaped. It was no longer in Starmer's hands. It wasn't even in the media's hands. It belonged to the algorithm. And the algorithm was feeding the fire. Musk doubled down almost instantly. He launched an emergency X Spaces session titled The British Truth Crisis. More than 2.3 million listeners joined in the first 5 minutes. He spoke with the calm certainty of someone holding evidence the world wasn't meant to see. "I don't dislike the UK," he said plainly. "I dislike suppression." Then he released the first file. A document allegedly showing government requests for prioritised takedowns of politically sensitive posts. He named dates, identifiers, contractors, email chains. Starmer's communications team rushed out a statement calling the files distorted and dangerous. But Musk responded by uploading the raw data to a public blockchain mirror so no one can bury it. And that's when things got truly volatile. Polls began shifting rapidly. A new YouGov survey showed Labour's support dropping 7 points overnight. Reform UK jumped 5. Independent candidates surged. For the first time since taking office, Starmer's approval rating fell into the negative double digits. A political quake triggered not by policy, but by digital warfare. Inside Downing Street, panic seeped through the walls. Advisors clashed. Ministers argued. One insider leaked a message saying, "We're losing the country through a screen." Another wrote, "We underestimated him. We underestimated the public." Rumours surfaced that senior Labour MPs were calling for an emergency meeting, not to defend Starmer, but to discuss succession planning if the crisis worsened. One MP told Sky News anonymously, "We can't fight a man who owns the battlefield," because that's the truth. Musk isn't a politician. He doesn't have to follow rules. He doesn't fear committees or hearings. He controls the platform, the conversation, the ecosystem. His words become trends. His trends become headlines. His headlines become public belief. He doesn't run an army. He runs attention. And attention in the modern era is power, pure, unfiltered power. Global capitals reacted fast. Washington expressed concern. Paris warned about unregulated digital influence. Berlin held a closed-door briefing on platform intervention in democratic processes. In Brussels, when EU officials started drafting emergency proposals aimed at restricting the influence of foreign-owned social media platforms on European politics. And behind all of this, a quieter fear spread. If Musk could destabilise the British government with a single broadcast moment, what could he do in France, Germany, the United States? Whose leadership could he challenge next? And how quickly? Meanwhile, in Britain, protests erupted. Real ones, not online, not symbolic.
We've got to rebuild into
people in the streets, students gathering outside Parliament chanting, "Free speech now." Veterans holding signs reading, "I fought for this country. Let me speak." Civil liberties groups joined forces in spontaneous marches across Bristol, Manchester, Glasgow, a movement forming in real time. The police presence was heavy, hesitant, unsure how to enforce laws already under scrutiny. Officers avoided confrontation, cameras rolled, and every moment became content. Content became narrative, narrative became pressure, pressure became revolt. Starmer attempted to regain control with an urgent national address. He spoke from outside Number 10, looking stern, tired, determined. He insisted that Musk's accusations were exaggerated, that the files were taken out of context, that protecting people from harmful misinformation was necessary for national stability. But viewers weren't convinced. His expression didn't match his words. His tone felt rehearsed, polished, hollow. And Musk responded within seconds. A single post reading, "Truth doesn't need a script." It went viral again, and then came the twist. the one no one expected. A senior intelligence officer speaking anonymously to an international outlet confirmed that there were discussions inside the Home Office about expanding digital monitoring capabilities. The lines between safety and censorship became blurred, the officer admitted. This wasn't intentional, but it happened. One confession, one quote, one crack in the wall. That's all it took. The story changed again. Starmer's denials started to look weaker. The government's explanations began to sound like excuses. And Musk, he looked validated. New leaks surfaced, this time from someone claiming to work inside the Department for Digital, Culture, Media and Sport. And these leaks were worse. Much worse. They suggested that several major platforms were pressured to deprioritise content favouring certain political viewpoints during election cycles. The documents were unverified. But Musk amplified them anyway, calling them the beginning of truth. By now, this wasn't a debate. It was a digital uprising. Millions of people, many apolitical just days earlier, became activists overnight. They started combing through files, cross-referencing screenshots, posting timelines, tracking government behaviour. It wasn't Musk doing the heavy lifting anymore. It was the public. A crowdsourced inquisition against their own leaders. And the bitterness inside the Labour Party grew unbearable. Leaked WhatsApp messages revealed members accusing Starmer's team of mishandling the crisis. One wrote, "This is a communications apocalypse." Another said, "We're bleeding credibility." The harshest message, allegedly from a senior strategist, read simply, "We are not ready for this era," because this crisis is not about one man's ego, or one law, or one clash on TV. It is about something bigger. A shift in the architecture of power itself, a collision between traditional institutions and the untamed velocity of digital influence. Governments speak in statements, committees, press briefings, but platforms speak in seconds, virality, outrage, algorithms. Musk understands the new world. Starmer is defending the old one. And Britain is trapped between them, watching the walls of its political system shake under the weight of a technological titan armed with nothing but truth claims and an audience of 1 billion. Hours ago, Musk released one more post, the most cryptic yet. "The Red Archive is coming," 5 words, no context, no details. But insiders speculate it refers to a set of documents allegedly exposing coordination between multiple government departments and private tech companies to influence online behaviour during the last general election. If that archive exists, and no one knows if it does, its release could trigger resignations across multiple sectors, perhaps even a collapse of government. Already, emergency meetings are underway. Sources say the government is preparing to introduce temporary digital emergency powers, measures that would allow content to be blocked in the national interest. Critics say it's a digital purge hiding under patriotic language. Supporters say it's necessary to stabilise the country. The irony? Both sides are proving Musk's point, that the government cannot handle dissent without controlling speech. And now millions are asking the same terrifying question. If this is how the state behaves under pressure, what has it been doing when the cameras weren't rolling? Britain stands at a crossroads tonight. On one path lies a future where governments reclaim their authority, but at the cost of liberty. On the other lies a world where one billionaire, through sheer digital momentum, can destabilise political systems with a single phrase. Neither path is stable, neither path is safe, and that's why all eyes are on what comes next. Will the king intervene and demand stability measures, or will he step back, wary of constitutional controversy? Will early elections be forced? Will the Labour Party fracture under the weight of its own internal rebellion? Or will Musk go further, pushing for more leaks, more evidence, more exposure, until the entire system collapses under its own attempts to defend itself? History is being written right now, not in newspapers, not in Parliament, but on screens, by voices, by shares, by millions of people who never expected to wield political power, suddenly finding themselves capable of reshaping the fate of a nation with a single repost. And as Britain hangs between democracy and digital revolution, one haunting truth rises above all others.
This is the first
The old world cannot survive in the new one. But what will replace it? A freer society built on transparency, a fragile democracy run by algorithms, a world where truth is liberated, or a world where truth is manufactured. You decide. Tell us what this moment means to you in the comments. Is Musk exposing tyranny or unleashing chaos? Is Starmer defending democracy or controlling it? And before the next twist drops, because trust me, it's coming, make sure you're subscribed. This story isn't ending, not tonight, not tomorrow. This is only the beginning. More revelations are coming. Stay alert, stay watching, and stay free.